in our RSQ email inbox, we have an email from Andy Weir because I emailed him and said, would you like to do an interview with us to talk about Project Hail Mary? And that email says,
and here is Andy Weir. If he would have said yes, he very respectfully said he did not have time to join, but he responded, which we thought was really cool.
It was very cool.
He's here in spirit, I'm sure. But yeah, so Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary is out in theaters now. It was, I think, the first IMAX movie I have ever seen, at least in memory. Maybe I saw something, I don't know, but it was very good.
It was very
Dakota
good.
saw it before me opening weekend.
I did. I didn't get the chance to see an IMAX, but I saw it and it was really good. I was very happy with the changes they did because they managed to take a 20 hour audio. How long is the audiobook for this?
I've heard nothing but fantastic things about the audiobook. So this is really a book I feel like that does well in all of its mediums. Book was fantastic, and that's how we read it. I've never heard a bad thing about the audiobook.
Yeah.
And the movie, I've also not heard anything bad about. The only bad thing I've heard about is from book nerds that they're like, they didn't include this super tiny small detail and blah, 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 blah. And I feel like you're just nitpicking.
It's true.
And honestly, if this book, and I'm going to say it, I feel like this might ruffle the feathers of the community. If this book was a 1-for-1 adaptation, it would be boring.
It would be so boring.
I think that the breakdown of the science is interesting, but in movie format, I don't want to hear him talking in his brain through equations and watching it on the TV. It just doesn't work. Yeah. There's a couple scenarios, and the main one that I respond to in comments when they're like, oh, hey, like they didn't add any of the extra science stuff that I was looking forward to, and blah, blah, and that, they just made it seem like you figured everything out. And I'm like, it's there. If you're just watching a movie and have read the book, it's there. If you haven't read the book, you can still
see,
but
it's really unique because
I have a specific example.
No.
I'm getting my specific example at the very end, and this is not spoiler free. This will have spoilers. So
yeah, if you're here, you know what you clicked on.
3, 2, 1, spoilers. At the end, when he's looking for Rocky, the camera constantly pans back to him shutting off the engine, and looking through the telescope thing through the Petrova lens, so he could see the flashes from Rocky's ship of his engine going, and he has to turn off his engine, which it keeps going back to, because his engine is also using astrophage to be able to propel himself. So it would blind and he wouldn't be able to actually see Rocky. So it takes time where he has to stop everything, turn off the engine, look through it, can't find him. Okay, start everything back up. And they show that at the end. And it doesn't really necessarily make sense if you haven't read it. I mean, you can kind of pick it up if you're really paying attention, but that's for the book readers right there. And I think that this book or this movie does a very good job of translating what you have to do. Nothing can be 1-to-1 unless it's a super in-depth TV show. Doesn't work for movies. Does a very good job translating book to movie to us as the viewer.
Yeah, it's a really unique situation because if you're a super nerd and you're looking for the science in the movie, you had to read the book first. And if you're like the nerd who's looking to see the sciencey part of this, you got to pay really close attention or read the book, which I think is totally fine. But that's how they handled a lot of things that they didn't outright explain in the movie, like the whole conversation about relativity and the speed at which they're traveling. They didn't really talk about that at all. They didn't talk about how with astrophage, they're able to accelerate closer to the speed of light. So relativity, that's why Strat was older in the end than Rylan was at the end. And they talk about how...
But they did briefly mention it because Ryan Gosling was like, oh, yeah, you guys don't know anything about relativity, talking to Rocky.
Yeah,
it's subtle, but you had to have read the book for you to pick that up. You don't lose anything by just watching the movie, but you get it's almost like bonus content.
Yeah,
as opposed to things like something like Harry Potter, where they're like, oh, I can't believe they missed out on this big scene. This you're just missing out on bonus content, essentially.
Yeah, you're missing out on the in-depth science. And one of the way that I described it in our short form, which I think is, if I do say so myself, the perfect way to describe this, the thing that's really lost is the on-screen creative scientist problem solving that Rylan does. There's no, all the creative problem solving that he does to fix the science solutions is kind of what's left out. But because he's just doing them alone and narrating to the reader or to Rocky, there's really no way to directly translate that when he's by himself in space, right?
It was really clever of him filming the videos and explaining things to Earth or whatever, but also that's the way that we as the viewers are learning this information too.
Yeah,
But if you were to break down every equation like you were saying like that, you'd be bored as shit sitting there watching it.
it's true. Yeah, we gave this a 9 out of 10, a 9.25 out of 10 when we rated it in July of 2025. So it's been
Yeah.
a minute since we read it, but we really enjoyed it. We thought it was really well done when we read the book, and the movie was really fun too.
I'm really glad that they kept the way the story was told in the sense that like it's almost like an unreliable narrator because the main character is like remembering things as he goes along and we don't know why he's forgetting. So like we get a bunch of flashbacks and figuring out like little tidbits from the past. And we're learning at the same time as the main character's reading it. And then we find out he was, betrayed at one point and forced to go. That's like boom. And I feel like they did that really well in the movie. And perfect, I would say. I had really no issues as someone reading the book first and then watching the movie. I did not personally have any issues. I thought this was a very enjoyable movie, digestible for anyone. My wife loved it. She's not a big science fiction fan at all. She did not read the book, but she goes, I thought this was going to be a derby space movie with aliens killing everybody. And this was really, really good. She shed a tear. Very good. I'm really impressed with how this was done. And I'm not like the biggest fan of Ryan Gosling. I don't mind him, but when I saw he was like our main character, I was like, this is gonna be interesting. It was he did such a good job.
Yeah, he really put the whole thing on his back and carried it.
He was the only character. So then Alien Rock.
Yeah, I don't really know that there's much else to like talk about. We miss the things that we miss out on feel really minor. Like the breeder tanks, he like really briefly explains that in a video.
Very brief.
But that was like a big port. Like the whole last like quarter of the book was the problem solving leaving Tau Ceti and the like the Taumiba escaping and eating the astrophage. Like that, like they show him like venting the ship with the airlock and him holding a like xenon shield, and they don't really explain that out loud what he's doing. So that there were like a few really, really little things that I could see being tough to fully understand as a movie only seer. Like the amnesia was explained, but it was like him writing on a whiteboard what he is, and the flashbacks you almost can't, it's like not super clear that the flashbacks is like him remembering things in time.
I completely disagree.
Like, I don't know. I saw it with my dad, and my dad was like, "Is he remembering like in line right now, or are these just like flashbacks?" I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, but he picked it up because he was asking. So like he picked it up because Haley asked the same question. She was like, "Oh, is he like? Are we learning at like the same time?"
Clarification.
I mean, you can like you question things in your head all the time when you're reading. Watching. I feel like
true. And they talked to the people who read the book because they know we read the book.
I feel like it was easy enough to pick up for just the Joe Schmo. But I will agree that the last portion of the book where it was, I mean, it was already a 2 hour and 40-minute movie. Like you had to like narrow down a lot of the like sciencey and like randomly building things because he picked up like the language really fast. But it made sense the way that he did it. We didn't have to watch him like figure things out one by one. Like I feel like it was
that's true.
But the ending was
one of the things that we didn't see, which is total bonus content, didn't matter. We didn't see him trying to help Rocky get better. Remember in the book, he like blasts Rocky's like vents out, and then Rocky comes to and it's like, those were scabs and you were blasting them off. Please don't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, he built the heat lamp and like sat next to him, but it did kind of just look like Rocky like got better out of nowhere. Yeah. I will concede there. I will say that.
It's not a complaint. I said it was bonus content. It was just one of the things I made a note of.
I know, but like if you sit back and think about it, like now, like it is like Rocky just like got better type thing.
I do feel like in the movie,
but I don't know how you would have shown it.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you.
I'm not fighting with you.
Stop yelling at me.
Sorry, Dad.
Maybe this was just me. I did feel like the ship almost crashing into Tau Ceti was like a longer, more suspenseful sequence in the book than it was in the movie. But maybe I was able to dissociate in the movie and be like, I already know that they're going to be okay, so everything's fine.
I felt like it was all right because I almost felt the opposite. I felt like it was more dramatic in the movie than it was in the book. Like it was dramatic, but I didn't feel it was.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just not remembering as well because, but I felt like in the movie, I'm like probably the same thing you're saying, but opposite feeling is I felt like, all right, this is like dragging on, like in my brain. Like I know it's fine. Like
Yeah.
we're being dramatic.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong actually.
We also get a bit of a different, and I think this was fine for the way that they ended it and the way that they handled like translating the emotions into onto the screen. We don't get like an older Rylan who's like come to accept that he's going to die on the Iridian planet. Like in the book, he's older, and him and he walks with a cane, and your memory is not great.
I don't think he's that old.
At the end of the book, it's a time skip, and he's older, and he
like when he's teaching the kids.
Specifically, he talks about at the end of the book, like back when they were adjusting the temperature of the water earlier on. So like that's one of the ways that it shows us that like he hasn't been on the planet as long as he was at the end of the book, because in the end of the book they're like, back when you were adjusting the water temperature for me. And then in the movie he's like, we could get in between boiling and cold would be great for the water temperature. Remember that whole sequence scene? And then he's also like, we get like a self-reflection of him deciding that he's like not going to leave and doesn't want to go back to Earth, and that he's using a cane because there's more gravity, and that his spine's like he's decaying. He's not going to live as long, and he's older. The end of the book. Promise.
My brain is just not.
Promise. I promise.
Because I remember he still had like conflicting feelings in the book. Like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to go. Like, I don't know if it's there for me anymore, though, because Earth has progressed so much further. What are you doing?
I'm looking it up. I feel like it's
because there was still a chance of him like going.
Opposite. I feel like in the end of the book, he's entirely decided that he's not.
It's ambiguous. No. I fully remember it being like, and I'm just adamant now, and I just could be digging the stitching for that. I feel like it was more on the ambiguous side, but he was leaning toward, like, as the reader, you figured he was going to stay, but it wasn't like 100% there. Damn, you can't even Google. You're just typing the same thing.
I'm trying to get my Kindle library to bring up the book, and it's like you don't have this book, and I'm like, you're wrong.
What if we turned off your internet because you're talking nonsense?
They just decided that you don't need to see it. There it is. There it is. I had to turn off my Wi-Fi. Somehow it's good enough to record this video.
Turn off your Wi-Fi? Okay, weirdo. You can't find it, folks. It's been 3 seconds. It's not there. I'm right. You can read the whole last chapter?
I found it already.
There's no way.
I did.
Read it aloud to class.
I feel you're right, but I feel like I'm right. And that's why I was scrolling back a little farther. Very like
no. Go ahead.
Last page is like
not like read it.
Maybe I will go home someday. Maybe I'll find out for sure, but not right now. Right now I've got work to do. So like it feels like listen. It feels like he's accepted that he's not going home in the book. The way it's spun in the book, it's like, hold on. I went back another thing. Cuz he does have a cane. He is older.
Are we sure it's because he's older, or is it because the gravity is different?
Oh my gosh. I don't.
It's a totally valid question,
will you
folks.
Go home
I don't
now,
know why I'm being yelled at for this.
I don't know. I'm getting old and the trip is long. Speaking from a selfish perspective, I hope you stay, but that's just me. Rocky, that news about Soul, it makes my whole life have meaning, you know? Well, they tell him that the sun, that's another thing. They tell him that the sun has healed in the book. That like
which is assumed in the movie.
Right.
We've got work to do. 007.
Yeah. It's just it's not even a big deal. We're getting I don't know why you're trying to fight me about
I can't
this.
believe I'm right, and then Dakota's backtracking saying why are you fighting
literally
me?
Older.
Okay, he's older. Time has passed.
They skip the me burgers. Remember the me burgers? Yeah, you can't have stock in nothing. Your memory is so bad and you're arguing with me over like
I don't know what's wrong with me and why my memory's so bad.
I'm trying to relook because
what's the me burgers?
The me burgers were because they didn't know how to make like protein, so they just clone him. They clone him, not him. They clone like they grow flesh out of like his cells.
I just needed a reminder. I'm sorry I don't remember everything that you're thinking of and actively reading right now to jog your memory. Because like I'm reading something actively. How do you not? I remember a specific moment. I do notoriously have a terrible memory, so it's not 100% unwarranted attacks. But yeah, I don't know. I felt overall this movie was like 92% there in the sense of, and the only other 8% that was missing was the science stuff that was really cool to read, but just doesn't translate well to watch. And I felt like they transitioned most of that. Dakota's rereading the whole book right now. I don't actually know what he's doing.
I
He's
was
just
speed
finished.
reading really
He
quick.
reads so fast. He's already like 38% in.
I just finished it. I read the whole book.
He finishes that fast. There's really no surprise there.
It's a race, and I'm gonna win.
And he does.
Anyway, the movie was good. The book was good. They stand together very well. Minor differences, but I think that you have to have minor differences because the book is very self-focused, introspective. He's alone. Like he's thinking and you're getting a lot of like his stream of thought. And that like to translate that into a movie is like, what are we going to do? Stare at a guy who's just like.
It's a very good point. And also, we really don't have a lot or very, very few true, really well done either adaptations or just straight book to movie, not TV shows. I'm not talking TV shows about book to movie. Well done. It's just not well done.
And it was beautiful. It looked really cool.
Visually stunning.
The astrophage vision that they like turned on a couple times was like
pink sparklies.
Yeah, that's crazy. Seeing Tau Ceti was also very cool.
Tau Ceti was sweet. I really liked Rocky's little like beach armor when he was in the like dome.
Oh,
I don't know why. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah. All of the Rocky stuff was really cool.
Amazing. It's funny because with Dakota and I finished the book together in last summer, we would just text each other whatever we said it, and we like ended it. If it was like good, we go good. Like everything was like triple hit. I thought it was amazing.
But yeah, I was gonna say one more thing, but I don't remember because you were
just me saying goodbye. And it's just like that, like typical like fish or alligator that you hit with like the little stick.
Oh, I was gonna say that the humor between the dry humor between him and Rocky was really good. It was way better than in the book because dry humor doesn't read as well, but the dry humor on the screen was
the really humor. Good. I feel like you could pick it up in the book, but like you said, way better.
Yeah, like acted out, proper acting. It was good.
Whoever was the CGI Rocky did a great job.
Watching him like dance and then the point, like, oh, you like pointing, you like, oh, you want that. You're actually pointing.
You're actually pointing.
That was really funny.
No, I feel like all those, especially when he did like the whole like, all right, personal space has become a premium. Like that whole like sequence when he goes, he's like, he's all the way over there.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Who are you talking to?
You cannot hear me. I can.
Very, very funny.
Picking out the different voices for him. What did you say? He's like, Meryl Streep, she could do anything.
Yeah. It was funny how long that like sequence took, where they like did a lot of voices. I'm like, they had a lot of fun with this part.
Us like trying to decide how to trim our videos, and we're like, I can't trim out the banter. Gotta leave that in. That was
it's the best part.
Scene. Yeah. But really, don't have much else to add. It was good. I think I feel like if you're a super nerd and you're looking for the super nerd stuff, you should definitely read the book first and then see the movie. But if you're like the average moviegoer who's like just looking to go see the movie, you'll like it.
It's one of those, like, if I could pick the perfect scenario for everybody, it would be to read the book and then the movie, which is almost always how I would recommend it. Except they're like for Harry Potter, I would recommend watching first and then reading.
Interesting.
Because
that's a whole nother video.
Because it is. Do I just stop talking?
No, you should keep going. I was just saying we could get into it. We could have a whole nother video on that.
The movies are so good, right? The Harry Potter movies are fantastic. And then, but if you've read the books first, you're going to be disappointed because there's so many other cool things and scenarios and plots that are left out. But if you read or if you watch the movies first, you get that magic, right? You get all that magic. And then when you read the books later on, you're like, oh my gosh, there's like so many extra things.
Yeah, you know what? I think I agree with you, and I think it's the same with Dune. I think you should watch the Dune movies before you read the book because the books are a little dry for Dune, but if you watch the movie, you have the like sprawling
visual context
of Arrakis, and then when you're reading the book, you're like, oh man, the movies were so good. I remember when this happened in the movie, and you can understand it more.
For sure. And I feel like that's a weird take, but I'm very happy with my take on that.
I agree with your take. It's a good take.
You should take my take.
But anyways, we're making my 7-year-old read the books before he watches the movies.
So you don't agree with my take.
I agree with your take. But for the sake of my 7-year-old's education and convincing him the importance of reading, he has to read the books before he's allowed to watch the movies.
I guess I could see your point. I think there's an argument to be made for both sides. And I think people that are like vehemently arguing like only one way is the right way. Those people are
Yeah.
toxic, and I don't like them. I feel like there is
You heard it
just
here, folks.
I don't like people. There is a more right way to do things, I guess you could argue, but there is a legitimate argument for both ways that I could see, especially for this book. I really don't think there is a wrong way. There is a, if you want to call it a right way, it's just because like you get to see more information one way than the other, then yeah, you would read first. But if you don't care about all the nitty gritties, then the movie is, like I said, like 92% accurate.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very true. It's very true to the idea and the concept.
I felt no ill will like I do like Maze Runner made me want to claw my face off.
Yeah.
During the second one. Terrible.
We'll see how the Brandon Sanderson adaptations are.
Lord willing. Lord willing. He said he's like 40-something% done with the script.
In his most recent bing.
I love those videos.
They're so funny. And the fact that after all this time, he still goes bing and doesn't like, they don't edit in a bing. He goes bing. I love that.
Why? They don't need to edit it in. The perfect bing is already there.
It's already there.
Haley not the other day, it was actually today, was like, because I told her, I'm like, oh yeah, they're making Mistborn. Like, she goes, oh, does that have my guy in it? I'm like, who's your guy? And she goes, Zanzibar, the one in white. And I'm like, no. Zeph Sunsunvlano
Zanzibar
is going to be in the show after Mistborn in Way of Kings.
Zeph Sunsunvlano, Truthless of Shinobar, wore white.
The
Anyways,
day he
if you're
was
just
the villain.
discovering us because Project Hail Mary is popular right now, we read books and we talk about them. We post short videos on the short platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. We post long videos on here. All of our videos on here are pretty spoilery. So if you're watching on here, you should probably have read the book first. But if you're looking for some book-related memes or to check out our stuff, check us out. We are Reader's Side Quest everywhere.
We are everywhere. And we do, especially in our YouTube videos, like to talk spoilers. So if you're like, oh, I just read this book, I wonder if they read it, and you search us and you find our thing, completely, we talk about things. So if you also want to know if we talk about the things you want to talk about, let us know. If you like the more bantery stuff, we like to banter, but we cut a lot of it out because we're like, people don't want to see the banter.
They don't want to see the banter.
They don't want to see the banter. I like the banter. So like, let us know that you also like it so we can keep it in. And I can, one, we can stop editing it out because it's more work. But two, we get to talk shit more, which is more fun.
There we go.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the movie. And if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and watch it. It's a great time. If you haven't read the book yet and you want to, you can also go to that too. It's your life.
Go
do whatever you want with your time.
Live your life. So live your life. Hey.
Hey. Wow. Beautiful. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. RSQ out.
RSQ out.